My name is Ryan, I'm also known as Rhapsody, and this is the third of the vlog channel update slash vlog slash Q&A type this week, specifically things that I'm doing. The Sunday update. Yeah, let's call it that. I'll come up with a catchier name at some point, I promise you that much. Just a few quick announcements off the top of the episode before we go into the Q&A. I'll make them as quick as I possibly can. I told you last week that I was gonna be starting to release 3 videos each day, and I didn't know where the last one was gonna fit in, and then I didn't know what I was gonna do with time zones and everything like that. So I'm just gonna express the times each day that an episode is going to be released in GMT, which is Greenwich Mean Time. Usually, if you look for your time zone, you'll find, oh look, AEST, which is my time zone, Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's GMT plus 10, so you'll be able to very easily, quickly figure out which time that is in your time zone. So we've got GMT 4 AM, GMT 2 PM, and 8 PM. Easy. Right? The whole point is so that I can release something in 2 PM for the Londoners and the Scandinavians and the Germans, right? And just like basically Western Europe, because statistics say that's where a lot of you are. There's also a 2 PM release for the eastern side of the United States, and then a 2 PM release for where I currently live, which is Sydney, the western side of the United States, actually, and the eastern side of Australia. Okay. After that, I know a lot of episodes have been late recently. Everything has been going up, though, so there's still been 3 episodes a day, but late. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of things going up late. Basically, it's just the quality that I want to upload in is too high for my shitty little internet. A 3-hour arena run, which doesn't happen too often, but it has happened in the past, takes me about 26 hours to upload. Yeah, so you can see where that's unsustainable when I also want to put up 2 other videos. So I try and work with a huge backlog, but when I don't have a huge backlog, especially for ranked episodes, this turned out happening, they end up going up a little bit late. The only thing that I can do to make that less potent at the moment is to, well, lower the quality. So everything would still be 60 FPS, but it would be a little grainier, a little less defined. I'm not a huge fan of doing that, to be completely honest with you, but if this becomes more of an issue in the future, it's something I'll have to consider more heavily. It sucks, but it's really one of the only decisions. It's a hard decision that has to be made, unfortunately, for the fact that where I live has 0.8 megabit per second upload. Yeah. I want to not have 0.8 megabit upload per second. God damn it, I'll just screw that up every single time I say it, I guess. Because then I'd be able to stream, and I'd be able to upload faster, and it'd be grand, and everyone would have a gay old time, and the world would be made of chocolate. Because this is in an alternate dimension. Regardless, let's get into the Q&A with no fanfare. Except that one. Where did I put the... Right, there they are! Do you like movies, and what is your favorite? Yes! Okay, next. Do you like movies, and what is your favorite? I guess there's a very specific thing there. I wasn't given a question, do you have a favorite? No. So unfortunately, I have to say I don't have a favorite film. I quite like a lot of films. Examples would be, I like the Lord of the Rings trilogy, I like the Evil Dead trilogy, I like anything that kind of mixes genres, so Evil Dead falls into that, I mean comedy slash horror. And then you've got Cabin in the Woods, which is, I haven't even written this on my list, but Cabin in the Woods is basically like, it's a horror in spite of itself, so it plays with all the horror tropes and therefore introduces comedy, and it's brilliant. I'm really enjoying a lot of the stuff going on with the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the moment. I feel like in the future I'm going to enjoy more of it. Thank you, Kevin Feige, for basically forging the way for us nerds. Thank you. Thank you very much. Basically, I really liked Iron Man 1 and 3. Specifically 1 and 3. 2 was shithouse. I quite liked the Avengers and the second Captain America film. All of the rest of it, I can take it or leave it. Only for films though, I'm a huge fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I have an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 concept art book, but I don't have it with me because my friend Pete fucking still has it. You motherfucker, give it back. I'm a little off track. I really quite like the works of Quentin Tarantino, although I haven't watched Kill Bill because I'm a gigantic casual scum. So I really like Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards. I really like the Grindhouse stuff he did. So I really like Planet Terror, for instance. Yeah, all of that type of stuff's really cool to me. Clockwork Orange, I also really like, which is Stanley Kubrick. I quite like a lot of the cinematography in a lot of his films, but I particularly like Clockwork Orange, or A Clockwork Orange, because of the performance of Malcolm McDowell, who is just so talented and really, really well done in that. I quite like it. Also, I think if I had to make a favorite, it would be Airplane, which is a comedy film, because it is so heavily comedic and it uses all of the tropes and it gags itself and it's brilliant. It's kind of like the best and most faithful incarnation of British humor I've ever seen in American cinema. Definitely the most I've seen recently, which can be unfortunate, but then at times you look at America and go, shit, you guys have fucking Louis C.K., you guys got Bo Burnham up in this shit, you guys got some good comedy going on, just not a lot of it in movies. Do you like board games? Yes, very much so. I was gonna do a gag where I was like, no, I don't like board games, and then I was gonna drop 7 board games onto my lap, but I don't have 7 board games in the house at the moment, well, at least that I like. I think it would be disingenuous if I put Monopoly and Cranium in there, games I don't like. I really do like board games, except all the board games I own, I leave at friends' houses because I only ever play it when I'm at their house. So I've got Pandemic, I've got 2 Lord of the Rings deck building games, and also a 4th share in another Lord of the Rings deck building game. That's about it, actually, that I own. I also like to play very often with my friends Small World and Catan, anything kind of super strategic, like Pandemic is another example of that. It's really, I really like them. Quite good, those. Also really enjoy tabletop role-playing games like D&D and World of Darkness. Any of you who've watched the Legend of Grimrock series that I do will be familiar with my my Mountain Dwarf Barbarian for my D&D 5th edition campaign named Yrden, the strongest dwarf in all of Yrden. Usually I go with something more elf, more man, more stealthy, more backstabby, critically type of thing. But I decided to flip the table and just go for, no, I want to be the strongest man in the whole world. Just to basically get to play a different style. It's been working out pretty well so far. Because I don't have any, out of combat skills. I was rolling 15, 15, 15, 8, 8, 8, if anyone knows the arrays, right? So strength, dex, constitution, and then charisma, int, wisdom? I believe that's the order they're in. All I know is I've got 15 for the first 3, and then 8 for the rest. So I take penalties on most checks, like speech checks, fuck, which are the speech checks in 5th? Oh, I keep thinking in 4th and 3.5. Anyway, I just can't do anything out of battle, right? So I tend to just run into battle and try and win things, and then afterwards have my character be an absolute jerk-ass to everyone. Oh, it's lovely. Favorite non-game thing? Stand-up comedy. It would be safe to say that stand-up comedy is the love of my life. When I was 7 or 8, I started watching stand-up comedy shows like galas, like the Montreal Gala, the Just for Laughs Montreal Gala, and the Australian Melbourne Comedy Gala. I consumed them, and then I went on the internet and I was like, internet, how do I get comedy? And LimeWire said, here, have you heard of Robin Williams? Because if you search stand-up comedy on LimeWire, when I was 7, so that's what? 14 years ago. Holy shit, was that 14? Wow. Yeah, it would say, here's Robin Williams. Would you like Robin Williams? And then I'm like, okay, sure. Because I didn't know shit at the time, right? I was a dumb Nerd. I might have been 9 or 10 at the time. Anyway, and then moved on to Jerry Seinfeld, and then I started to branch out, and anything that was labeled comedy, I would just find that media and consume it entirely, until I ended up merging more into kind of like satire, and then more surrealist type stuff, and I basically ended up in Britain, right? So I went from starting with American comedy to, alright, I'm just gonna hang out with the UK for the rest of my life. And that's where I'm still at, and it's why people, I think I may have mentioned this before, but it's why a lot of people in Australia, and especially other nations as well, think that I'm not Australian. Because I've commonly heard Australians say, that's a nice accent, where are you from? And I'm like, here? I was born here? Fucker. Not particularly offended at all. I just like the idea of being able to trump that up. Like, how dare you? I'm offended. No, honestly, I take it as a compliment. I had the same thing on the 6 Power Overwhelming video. The one that got uploaded to the really popular channel, the one that brought a lot of possibly you here. Someone replied to me a comment that I made in one of the threads on that video. Why do you sound so British? And my response was, yeah, I just listened to a lot of British comedy growing up, so I imagine that some of the ways that they speak may have affected my accent. That's fine. And then also somewhere around 16 to 17, actually maybe up until 19, I started to very, very kind of forcibly try and get Australianisms, like dropping more of your kind of end vowels, and kind of like the end inflection that goes up at the end, regardless of whether it's a question or not. Right. So I tried to drop a lot of those because, well, let's face it, it doesn't portray you very well in the worldwide community when you talk like you have no fucking clue what anything is. And that's fine. A lot of people can do Australian voice and it works for them. I don't particularly enjoy the cadence of it, at the very least. Okay, ooh, this is a good one, right? This is a lot of questions merged into one. How'd you get into Lping? Why'd you get into Lping? Who got you into Lping? That type of stuff. I merged them all into why. This question just says why. I'm reading off, like, I did draft a few of these answers because I didn't want to be stumbling for answers like, right? So I wanted to be able to be a little bit more fluent, just not to waste your time and to be as interesting as possible. How'd you get into Lping? I really like performance. I really like the idea of being an actor or a singer or a stand-up comedian. I've tried all three. I was in a choir and there was shithouse. Basically, the only reason they put me in the choir is because they were like, Ryan, you're tall. You can probably sing bass. And my response was, no, but I want to go to band camp. Oh, I'm going to fix this hair. But a lot of my friends were going to band camp, right? And I want to hang out with my friends. So I was like, fuck it, man. I'll sing low for you. Whatever you want, man. I just want to go to that band camp. Because it was a week off school just to hang out with my friends. Yeah. So I did that. Didn't work out well. I was just no good at it. Also, stand-up comedy. I did that when I was... I tried that out a little bit when I was much younger. I think I was 16 at the time. And I was horribly socially awkward and I didn't have the ability to talk to anyone, let alone stand on a stage under those hot, hot lights. And I just cramped up and I was way too nervous and I was just like mumbling into the microphone. And there's a tape out there somewhere that exists of that. I hope never to find it because that would be atrociously bad. It wouldn't be funny. It would be cringeworthy. And plus, I know that 16-year-old me is a prick. He stole half of that material from Mitch Hedberg. The little fucker. How dare you, 16-year-old Ryan? Who got you into Lping, right? So this is kind of like the other half of what I believe. So like why and who? Northernlion. That's about it. So let's move on. So if we're talking about people from the world of Lping, it's Northernlion and Day 9, right? Day 9's irrepressibly happy, optimistic attitude. Like, I've seen him tell a story on stream that was horribly sad, and he was crying, but he was smiling and laughing at the same time, and it didn't seem insane because it's just he's irrepressibly happy all the time, and his love for everything, just his brightness inspires me so much, and I wish to be like that, right? Channel the salt into just being a better person. And Northernlion, because watching LPs on YouTube, a lot of the time you find people with their performance is not something that I'm interested in emulating, right? I'm not interested in emulating Northernlion either. I want to do my own style. It's just seeing his content and seeing that you could just be like dry, you could be a little bit witty, a little bit referential, you could sit back, you could be more passive, you didn't have to let your personality overwhelm all of the experience, but it can be there and it can be a significant element of it. It was really important to me because at that time when I was engaging with LPs that weren't streams, a lot of what I started to find were the kind of more personality-centric, more over-the-top, more overacting kind of LPs. I'm not going to name any names, but I'm basically about to tell you the kind of person that I'm talking about. I mean, he's the most popular YouTuber of all time with like 34 million subs. I'm not going to put a dent in his subs by slightly insulting him right now. I don't mean this as an insult, but it's not the style that I'm interested in. And there's a lot of people who are interested in that, clearly. 34 million people at the very least. That makes him the most popular YouTuber of all time. Anyway, yeah, a lot of people are interested in that, but Northernlion's content helped me to see that LPing didn't have to be, how's it going, bros? My name is Pierre. Right, it helped me to see that it didn't have to be that, and it didn't have to be face cam, scare through, rage cam, face through, scare cam, right? It didn't have to be, I'm gonna play Amnesia and scream at the top of my lungs at the boxes around the corner. Of course, I'm a huge hypocrite because I played Outlast with a face cam on, because I'm an absolute dick. But at the same time, I very, very specifically tried in that series to be as genuine as I possibly could and never, overact anything out. Yeah, so Northernlion and Day 9, huge influences for me. Favorite food, Japanese. I really dig Japanese. Now, I know a lot of people who go, favorite food, that's pizza, or sushi, or, that's your favorite food. No. All of Japanese cuisine, except for the weird things. You know what I'm talking about, Japan. It's weird. Don't do it. Yeah, no, I really like Japanese food. I hadn't had any until 1.5 years ago when I started meeting a more diverse group of friends. They were like, hey, let's go eat at Ichiban or Oiden or, all of these kind of Japanese places. And my response was, the fuck is that? The fuck is that? And then one of them said, all right, you have to have one bite before you can say that you don't like it. And that started to make me eat new things like Thai food and Japanese food and Greek food and Lebanese food and just, yeah, a lot more world experiences with food as a result of the one bite rule, which I encourage you all to live by. With liquids, it's a one sip rule. Basically, you just have to engage with it in at least some modicum before you can't just smell it and go, nah, I'm not gonna do that. Because some of the best tasting things smell horrible. I've never encountered any of them, because everything I've ever smelt that has smelled horrible, I'm like, yeah, that's probably not gonna taste good, and then usually doesn't. Edible things, like food. How low can you sing? Fuck you. So I'm gonna have to on the fly adjust my microphone for this. I was not looking forward to this, by the way, because I have to do a singing video at some point. So this is just gonna be a little bit. I can't sing low very well at all, right? It's probably low by most people's standards the way that I'm just talking now. But I don't particularly have great command of vocals at lower, and when I'm trying to sing, I usually just speak the words anyway, but when you have to do it low, you have to kind of project more, so it's difficult to do that. Anyway, Where are the lyrics for this thing? It's 16 Tons by Tennessee Ernie Ford. That's the one I picked out for this because I was just like, fuck it, man, that'll probably work. Cowboylyrics.com. I have to go to cowboylyrics.com for this. Some people say a man is made out of mud. A poor man's made out of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood and a skin and bones and a mind that's weak and a back that's strong. You load 16 tons, so what do you get? Another day older and you're deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Ta-da! That's the... Hang on. As I turn this back up for a speaking volume, that's kind of the lowest that I can do. At all. I debated between doing 16 Tons or the Oogie Boogie song from the end of Nightmare House, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I eventually decided to do that. The final question, what's your setup? So it was, what's your setup in terms of, I believe it was in terms of software and hardware. So easy. The software that I use is Audacity, which is free. In fact, all of the software I use is completely free, except for Adobe Premiere. So Audacity is what I use to record my audio through this microphone. This microphone, which is a Rode Procaster, and it's feeding into a desk preamp, which is a Behringer Xenix 302 USB preamp. So I record my audios through that, and then it goes into Audacity. I edit it afterwards by removing the sound, compression, and normalization. I don't bass boost, I don't change the way that my voice sounds in any way. In fact, probably on the internet my voice sounds a little tinnier and a little higher than it should, because a lot of the compression stuff that I have to do kind of unfairly cuts the low end. You can probably see that in shot at the moment, unfortunately. I've got a really good PC. I'm not going to tell you what the specs are right now because they're going to change very soon. Christmas is coming up. And I use Open Broadcaster software to record the video. Just before any video starts, I sync up everything by saying audio sync, and recording the audio on the Open Broadcaster software at the same time. Then I take everything over to Adobe Premiere and sync up the waveforms at audio sync point, and then I just cut them. And then that's an episode, unless I want to edit it, and then if it gets too big, sometimes, I haven't had to do this in a few months, but this is what I was talking about at the very start of the episode, sometimes I have to get the compression in there, so I use Handbrake, a free compression tool, to make the size a little lower so that I can get it onto YouTube. That is all of the questions, those are all of the questions that have been asked. Woo! We did it, Reddit! Alright, so if you've got questions that you are disappointed we're not on here, well, you should have asked before. You're never gonna get a chance again, that's the only... No, I'm kidding. You can feel free to leave them in the comments below in however long it takes me to get enough questions to put into a new video, or that would be sufficiently interesting. I'll hold them off until then. Yeah, that's basically it. There's the channel update done at the very start and the Q&A done then. My name has been Ryan, also known by Rhapsody. This has been the channel update. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourself. If you could, please like the video just so that it bumps it up in other people's feeds. Only if you like the video though. If you didn't like the video, don't like the video, or dislike the video. I don't want to tell you what to do. It's presumptuous for me to say, like the video, because then it's presumptuous, right? It's kind of like, well, you clearly liked the video, therefore click like. No, what if you hated it? What if you spent the whole time sitting in your chair going, fuck you, Ryan, what the hell are you talking about, you little bitch? I'm gonna pop ya. Feel free to dislike the video in that case. I'm sorry for making a presumptuous statement. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourself, which is why I keep saying hopefully there at the very end, and we'll see you next time.